Hi, welcome to number 5. So the last of the habits. This one is about designing your strategic life map. So that is making sure that you've kind of got like a bit of an action plan. It sort of helps you work that through. So I'm going to share a screen. I'm going to talk you through a little bit more about what that means. Sharing. All right. 5 habits for designing your life. We've done 4, and we're now designing our strategic life map. All right, 5th habit. Yay, we're at the end. Well done if you've gotten this far. Big fan of Adam Grant, and one of the things that he talks about, and this is very much what Strategic Life Map is about, is that big career decisions don't come with a map. So it's not actually a map, even though I call it a map. But what you need is a bit of a compass. So it kind of gives you the general direction that you need to head, and that's exactly what this process will do for you as well. He says, in an unpredictable world, you can't make a master plan. You can only gauge whether you're on a meaningful path. The right next move is the one that brings you a step closer to living your core values. And I would attribute that core values to also be what your dream life would look like is part of that process. All right, so what is the strategic life map? It's basically a guide for your better tomorrow, so what that might look like for you. It's a bit of a plan for the next 12 months and beyond, but not a tight plan. So it's not like, and then in this month, and then in this month, then in this month. It's probably more guidance around how things might work. It points directionally toward your personal purpose. So if you're wanting to be a X, then it helps you sort of direct your pathway towards that. And because it's anchored in that contextual beacon or that yearly theme, which we learn about in number 4, then what it does is it gives you the opportunity to sort of really think about this year and what this year is doing towards contributing towards your strategic life map and your sort of end goal dream life process scenario. Okay. Why I think you need strategic life map, and see, no reference of the compass there. It's around future proofing, especially your career. So obviously there's elements in your life that you might also want to future proof. And that's why it's a life map rather than just a career map. But it definitely gives you that ability to sort of go, well, I'm in charge, and I'm in charge of what I'm going to do and where I'm going to spend my energy and my time, because I want to create a life that means the most to me, not necessarily your colleague, your friend, your mum, your whatever might be. So you get what you want on your terms. So it's about really defining what that looks like. It also means that an unpleasant life event or a pleasant life event doesn't derail you. You kind of have like that compass, that guide, that general direction that you're heading in, so it kind of helps you work through that. And even if something unpleasant does happen, then it gives you the plan to either work on some smaller minor parts of that plan, or to pick it up when that unpleasant life event sorts itself out, which I absolutely know about. It also allows you to embrace everything that life has to offer you and squeeze every bit of last juice out of it. I really want people to be able to feel like this is a life that they've crafted, designed themselves, that suits them and their personality, suits their family and where they want to take that as well, and kind of makes them feel uplifted and free to do the things that really light them up. So that's the reason for doing it. Pretty cool reasons, I reckon. So here's a couple of steps that that take you through to sort of give you a little bit of detail around it. Some of these things will feel very light, but it helps you sort of identify the bits and pieces that we need to do, and it sort of brings everything together a little bit. So the first one is you identify your bigs in the next 3 to 5 years. So depending on the time frame you want to measure it against, 3 to 5 years is kind of the framing that is a helpful framing. And bigs are big things happening that you want to make space for. So if you had all of these things that you're trying to do with your life, and then you filled all that out into your plan, you kind of got all that stuff done, then, you know, your significant other has a big birthday and you just haven't built it in. So my recommendation from years of experience is to say, put those things in your calendar first. It could be big birthdays of yourself, significant others, people you want to celebrate. It could be big holidays like going overseas or something like that. And it could also be events that inspire you and kind of lift you up. So for me, things like TEDx and South by Southwest are important things for me to put on my strategic life map, because I want to make sure that I do those things because I find them super inspiring. I find I'm much more energized as a result of it. So whatever the bigs are for you is kind of what you want to put out in this process. It might mean that you want to take every December off or every January off. And so how do you get the rest of the stuff to sort of work around that time frame? Now, with the work that you would have done before with your reflection and your dreaming, here is now the opportunity to bring that stuff back in. So when you bring that stuff back in, I want you to identify 3 to 5 things you want to focus on in the next 12 months. You'll see a bit of a 3 to 5 theme. Our brains are very good at holding that sort of a number in, and to be able to do that without having to refer to a written document. Although if you create a written document, it's much more impactful. But our brains are really wired to 3 to 5 things you want to focus on the next 12 months. So look back at the reflection, look back at the dreaming, and work out what are the 3 to 5 things you want to focus on in the next 12 months. So it's just the what now. The next part is, once you've determined those 3 to 5, you really want to determine why they're important to you. And I think I've got an example slide. I may or may not have one. No, I don't. But in the information that you get as part of this, there is an example of kind of giving that. But let me give you an example from me. So one of the 3 to 5 things that makes it on every plan for every year is getting fit and healthy. Each year it changes as to what I'm going to do that. So the how, but the why pretty well stays constant. I want to be able to run multi-day events without being absolutely shattered and exhausted at the end of it. So that is my why for doing it. You may have a very different why for doing it. It also, for me, it's about energy. Your why might be that you want to prevent an injury, or you've had an injury and you want to get back to being a particular, fitness level. Whatever your why is, that's the why. So this is the compelling reason that you are doing this particular thing, and you can kind of work it out. Now, really think about this, because it can be quite galvanizing if you are very clear on what your why is. One of the other examples would be I'm started a podcast / show. And my why for doing that is because I want, I find people really interesting. So that's one part of it, that I really want to be able to explore that. But I also want people to see me in a different way, so that I can spread my message out a little bit more broader than the current processes that I use. So I want people to get to know me, get to know that I'm pretty damn cool, and that they can work through those processes. So really think about the why. The final part is then, so you've got your why, you've got your what, fit and healthy, multi-day events is my why. Fit and healthy is the next, and then it's the how. So it's literally, what are you going to do that? So it might be that I'm going to do my exercise physiologist plan. It could be walking. It could be standing more than sitting. It could be making sure I'm in bed at a particular time. It could be doing mindfulness. Like, everyone's how is going to be quite different as to what that fit and healthy looks like. So really sort of being clear about what are the things you're going to do and activate there. Now, it could be quite common for people to cram a lot of activities in. Ideally, concentrate on 1, 3 to 5 again. So 3 to 5 ideas that you might want to do in that particular period of time. And give it a little bit of space to be able to do that. So for a habit to form, it can take anywhere from 18 to 252 days. So in a whole year. So you need to give it at least a month to see if you can kind of get that to be a habitual activity that you're doing. So really making sure that kind of works. Now, the last part 5 of the 5 habits, and the 5th habit we're talking about. So today's was brought to you by the numbers 3 and 5. I'm going to sneeze. Oh, bless me. The number 5, so the 5th part of the strategic life map of the 5 habits, and the 5th habit is Determine the measurement and tracking. This is only if you need it. So some people want to be able to track how they're going against particular bits and pieces, and some people don't. They'll know that they've achieved the particular dream that they're working on because of other feelings around it. So they won't necessarily need tracking. But you might want to do tracking. Even if it's a health-related goal, you might want to do that. So you might want to track over a week how many times you've gone to bed at, 10:15, say, that you're in bed by 10:15. So you might want to track that over time so you can kind of see that and you can kind of see the movements associated with it. You might want to track your measurements or your weight, depending on something like that, so you can kind of see that. The reason for doing it is you want to be able to see the before and see the after a little bit. So you want to be able to see that there has been some change. So that might be a reason why you build in some measurements, but it's not critical. So it's not something that you absolutely have to have and the whole process will fall apart if you don't do it. It is not that at all. It is just an option for you to kind of look at if you want. So let's recap. For your strategic life map, you need to find out what your bigs are, identify 3 to 5 goals, determine the why of each of those goals or dreams to make sure that you're clear about why, determine the how for each of those goals or dream. And then if you want, you can do the measurement piece as well. All right, so knowing what your strategic life map is important because it's going to future-proof your career and life. It's going to give you clarity and direction. That is probably the 2 key words that people that have completed the program always talk about. I've got clarity now and I've got direction, which is essentially what we're trying to do. It's like that compass. I know where north is, I know where south is, and I know where I'm heading now as a result of that. It also focuses on you and what you need year after year. And I think that that's really important. It's quite easy for us to focus on everybody else, provide our energy to our work, to our community, to our family, to our friends, and then kind of the little bit left over that we kind of apply to ourselves. This is just flipping that a little bit on its head and making sure that you focus on yourself and what you need year after year. And as you progress through, you'll find you'll get closer and closer to where you want that dream life to be. It's not linear, so it's not like, a ski jump. I heard somebody call today. It's not a ski jump sort of process. It'll be, a roundabout. You might go backwards and you might go forwards and you might go around in circles, but it's generally heading you in that direction that you're trying to go to. So that's the intention. All right. That is fifth habit, strategic life map, of the 5 habits that you need for designing your life. And you may be wondering, which is those ones there, and you may be wondering, now what? So to take it to the next level and really create your dream life, you can book into a possibilities exploration session. It's free, 30 minutes. You can find out what's next for you. The most next logical step is to attend the Design Your Life on Purpose program. It has elements of the 5 habits that we've spoken about, but it has a lot more than that. So it's got a lot more than just the pieces that we've walked through today. And through the 5 sessions up to this date. So it kind of gives you like a next level. I also find that even if you have done this and it was absolutely everything that we have in the program, the next time you do it, you kind of go another level. You go a bit deeper, a bit more introspective, and you also learn a lot about the process. And it might have been that you had 3 to 5 goals last time and you found that that was too many goals or too little goals or whatever the process might be. So then you can adjust it and morph it a little bit to sort of suit you. So that's the call to action. Book in for a possibilities exploration session. It's free. It's 30 minutes. You get to pick my brain. And then if you wish, you can decide to move on to other items. So 5 habits of designing your life. That was the last habit, which was the 5th habit, kind of brings everything back together in sort of a strategic life map. Good luck for that, and we will see you in the future. Happy designing.